When someone starts learning decoupage, one of the first questions they ask me is, which paper should I use? Should I use napkins, rice paper, or decoupage paper? All these three can create beautiful projects, but they behave very differently once you start gluing them on a surface. So in today's video, I'm going to explain the three most commonly used papers in decoupage, what makes them different, and when you should choose each one for your project. Hello everyone, this is Ritu this side. We are going to talk about something that almost every beginner gets confused about, choosing the right paper. So let's start with the one that most decoupage artists begin with. First, let's talk about napkins. They're also called tissue napkins. Napkins are probably the most commonly used materials in decoupage. They're very thin, very soft, and easily available. You can find beautiful designs in napkins. One important thing to remember is that most napkins have 2 or 3 layers. For decoupage, we use only the top printed layer. The other plain layers are removed. Because napkins are so thin, they blend beautifully into the background. When applied properly, they almost look like the design has been painted onto the surface. But there is one small challenge. Napkins are very delicate, which means they can tear easily if too much glue or pressure is applied. So you need to work slowly and gently when applying them. Napkins work really well for projects like trays, coasters, boxes, jars, and they are perfect when you want a very smooth and painted looking finish. Now let's move to the second type, rice paper. Rice paper is quite different from napkins. It is made from natural fibers, and if you look closely, you can actually see tiny fibers inside the paper. These fibers give a beautiful, slightly textured look, which many of us love, especially for vintage style projects. Rice paper is also stronger and thicker than napkins, so it doesn't tear as easily, which makes it much easier to handle, especially if you are still learning. Another advantage is that because it is stronger, you can adjust or reposition it slightly while applying glue, which is very difficult to do it with napkins. Rice papers work beautifully for vintage projects, furniture decoupage, mixed media work, and large surfaces. The third type is decoupage paper. This paper is actually designed specifically for craft and decoupage projects. Compared to napkins and rice paper, decoupage paper is thicker and more durable. Because of this thickness, it is very easy to apply and doesn't wrinkle as easily. This makes it especially good for large surfaces or bigger projects. However, because the paper is thicker, sometimes the edges of the design are slightly visible. So many artists lightly sand or blend the edges so that the design looks more natural on the surface. Decoupage paper is commonly used for furniture, large trays, wooden boxes, wall decor pieces. They also come in large sheets with very detailed prints, which makes them perfect for creating statement pieces. So let's quickly compare all three. Napkins are very thin and delicate, but they give the most seamless painted effect. Rice paper is stronger and slightly textured, which makes it great for vintage or artistic projects. And decoupage paper is thicker and durable, making it ideal for large surfaces and bigger designs. There isn't really a best paper. Actually, the best paper simply depends on the project you are making and the look you want to achieve. If you are just starting with decoupage, I usually recommend beginning with napkins or rice paper, so you can get comfortable with the technique. And as you gain more experience, you can start experimenting with different papers and different effects. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos on decoupage techniques, materials, and creative ideas. And I would love to know from you, which paper do you enjoy working with the most?